Hello YouTube, it's Laura Reines, and I thought it would take a little bit of time here today to answer a question that I've received that has more to do with interviewing and career change. So I would like to give you that question, and then as always I will provide you with some of my insight or some of the things that I've learned from past experience. The question that I've been asked has to do with behaviorally based interview questions. And basically, what happened was one of you asked me, what is a behavioral based interview question? How might they be used in an interview? And then, how do I go about preparing for them? That is an excellent question. And I'll start off by saying that what employers will often do when they are interviewing is ask you questions on things that you did in the past in the hopes that that will help them to be able to predict how you might react in the future. So when they're looking to hire you, they're looking to get someone that matches a very specific skill set that they've outlined, probably in the position announcement that you read before applying for the position. So what they will do is they will ask you a question about something that happened to you in the past on a job site. And the question might be something like, tell me about a time when you, and then they fill in the blank. So an example of a behavioral-based interview question would be, tell me about a time when you had to go above and beyond what was expected of you, and what did you do? So there, what they're looking for is they're saying, okay, looking at how you handled a situation like this in the past will give me insight on how you might handle a similar situation in the present or in the future. Another one might be, what would your coworkers say about you? What are 3 traits that somebody might use to describe your work or your work ethic? Those are all behavioral questions, and interviewers like these questions a lot, often because they really help them to know you as a person. Now, I've been on plenty of job interviews, and I'm sure that you have too, and one of the things that we know is that we can be very good at holding it together for 10 to 30 minutes. But we don't always show everything or show all of our cards at the interview. So a behavioral question will get into that just a little bit more. Tell me about a time when you had an argument or a disagreement with your supervisor or one of your coworkers. So now what I'll do is I move into how to answer these questions. It's kind of hard to prepare for them because you don't know necessarily what types of questions they might ask you. You don't know about the situations that they might give you and things like that. So what you probably should do is reread the job description, and when you read that, they'll give you all kinds of traits and skills that they're looking for. And then think back and think, okay, were there any situations that I've dealt with on the job or in life that would fit into these categories? So I always say, have your bag of tricks. Have your answers prepared to some of the very standard interview questions that tell me about yourself. What 3 words would you use to describe you? And the cousin to that, what words would a coworker, a friend use to describe you? Think about your obituary, sadly enough. You might be asked, what will people say about you after you're gone? Or what do you hope that people say about you after you're gone? So there isn't really a hard and fast way to prepare except for to really think about your skills and your experiences and kind of how you got through them, how you dealt with something difficult on the job, how you dealt with something good, how you dealt with praise on the job, and things like that. Now, the way to answer such a question, I kind of do it in 3 parts. And this is my little method. This may work for you, it may not. Feel free to try it out and see if you feel comfortable using it. But what I always do first is I review the question that they asked me. And then I will tell them what I did to resolve the situation. This is a step, strangely enough, that a lot of people forget. They forget to answer the question. They're so nervous and they're thinking about, trying to impress, and they're thinking about this and that they kind of fail to completely answer the question. So that is the step 2. And then third, give a summary and tell us how it turned out. So for example, if your interviewer says, tell me about a time when you had to go above and beyond what was asked or expected of you on a job. You would say something like, well, one of the times that I can think of that I had to go above and beyond what was asked from me on a job, so you just recapped the question from them, and then you would answer it, involved working on a sales campaign, and we were just not making our deadline, or we were very worried that we weren't going to make our deadline, and not making our deadline might have cost the company a substantial amount of money. Okay, that's answering their question. So what I did, and here's the part that they're really going to want to know, what I did was I put together a team of individuals to stay after hours and to put in extra time working on this proposal or working on this project. You just gave them the solution. And then what you're going to do is you're going to give them information on the end result. This is where you're able to say, this is how I swooped in and saved the day. So basically you'll say, and what happened as a result of my willingness to do this was that we did meet our deadline, we ended up getting the deal, and the company secured X amount of dollars. So that's a little bit of information about how I would go about answering a behavioral-based interview question. Again, as I said, these are just my suggestions and things that have worked for me, but go ahead and try it out, and maybe you'll come up with, something even different that works for you. If you do, by all means, post it here and share it with us. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would like to know. So in summary, these questions aren't really anything that you can prepare for, other than to think about experiences that you've had, situations that you've been put into within jobs or within life in general, and then the ways you handled it. And again, these are asked so that potential employers can figure out how you might act in the future based on how you acted in the past. So hopefully that answers the question. Thank you for viewing, and I will be in touch very, very soon. Have a wonderful day.